It's Tuesday, the 12th of June, 2018, and welcome to Navigating Your Day. In Jinshin Jyutsu, safety energy lock number 12 came into the universe meaning, thy will be done. So, safety energy lock number 12 is located here in the center of the neck. So if you cup your neck where your fingers are, that's safety energy lock number 12. And it's at this point that we help to align our will with cosmic or divine will. So safety energy lock number 11, if you remember from yesterday, was about criticism. And it was about judgment, actually. And this is over here, and this is our personal will. So this is my will. I want justice. I think it's unfair. I think that person needs to be punished. I think they did me wrong. I think that I'm a stuff-up. I think that I don't deserve to be loved. Judgment. My will. Middle of the neck is divine will. Thy will be done. And 12 is a 3. So 3 is about expansion. It's about movement. It's associated with Jupiter, which is the planet of magnification. It is about, as I said, it's about expanding. It's about moving beyond your boundaries. It's about pushing your borders. It's about dancing through life as opposed to constantly fighting and struggling, all right? So struggle is part of the deal, guys. So support and challenge always come together as a unit. However, when you can appreciate where the support lies when you're having a challenging time, it helps you to become more expansive and flow into that process more creatively and more easily. And that then makes navigating your life more smoothly. It's about being able to go with the river. So sometimes there'll be rapids, sometimes there'll be waterfalls, sometimes there'll be cascades, sometimes there'll be piranhas in the water, but essentially the river carries on flowing to the sea, and we on our little boats, sometimes we have to go through the shoals of piranhas, sometimes we have to navigate the rapids. It doesn't mean that it's all smooth sailing, but the more we go with it, the more likely we are to get to wherever it is that we want to go. So thy will be done is aligning our will with divine will. My understanding of that is not that we have to stick to a whole bunch of probably man-made rules that are going to, get us the pat on the head from whoever the divine creator is of this universe. My understanding of that is aligning our will with divine will is understanding how universal laws work and appreciating that this is how they work. So what happens is when you can appreciate from safety energy lock number 11 that this duality exists all around us, that support and challenge come together as a package, that no experience can only be one-sided. It cannot be only good or bad, or more good or more bad. When we can truly appreciate that, and it is not easy, but when we can truly appreciate that, then what happens is we align our will with divine will more readily, and then we can expand and we can grow into our fullest potential. So that's the potential that we have to connect with today. 12, as I said, is a 3. It's a fire number, all right? It's a fire, in life mapping, 3 is a fire number. It's associated with creativity. It's associated with order. It's associated with strategizing. It's associated with being able to see the goal. We know where the river ends, so this is the equipment that we need to take because we're going to have to get through the rapids. We're going to have to have life jackets. We're going to have enough provisions because, we can't just get out of the boat because the piranhas are there. We can't swim in certain parts of the river. The strategic planning of how to get to a goal, that is what 3 really helps us to connect with today. It can be quite impatient. It can be impatient with people who are slower and can't see the end goal. It can be, we can find ourselves becoming, as I said, frustrated and trying to force our perceptions of how things should be on other people today. So that's the downside of the 3. We've, of course, got the 6 from June, which is another fire number. It's about balance. It's about beauty. It's about harmony. It's about discrimination. It's about wanting to do things well and make it all look beautiful. So it might be that 3's strategic plan doesn't involve everything looking great, but the end result is worth it. 6 might find that a little bit more difficult to handle. You might find yourself being stifled in your creativity or moving towards your goal by wanting to make everything perfect before you can move on, all right? It's never going to be perfect, guys. So that's one of the drawbacks of the 6. There's a lot of fire energy. That fire energy of the 3 and the 6 is balanced by the 2 from 2018, which is a water number. 2 brings the balance. 2 calms the fire down. 2 helps us to connect to our emotions so that we don't get carried away by the creativity and the drive and too much pushing and too much force. The hero today is a 2. So we've got a second 2 that can help us to calm down all that fire energy. When we have 2 in the hero position, then we are able to maintain the balance between self-nurture and nurturing other people more easily. We're also able to see where we are nourishing and where we are punishing, and maybe we can take our foot off the pedal of the punishing a bit more, and we can focus a bit more on the nourishing. And it starts with you, not with others. So sometimes we can get lost in that caring for others and expending our energy externally, and then we don't have enough energy for ourselves. So 2 in the hero position helps us to keep that energy contained within us so that we have a reservoir from which we can give to others. The villain today is a 5. So when we have 5 in the villain position, then we have a tendency to have our mind overanalyze, we tend to overthink, we tend to get stuck in a repetitive loop, and that can create huge amounts of anxiety. So do be aware of that today. That anxiety can then push us further. You know, we've got to drive harder, we've got to strive harder, we've got to work harder, we can't take a break, we've got no time to worry about emotions because we're busy doing. It actually, that 5 in the villain position can push us too much into the masculine. So 3 and 6, that fire energy is a very masculine energy, and the 2 is a more feminine energy. We've got a beautiful balance of the 2 today, so we can keep the doing and the being in balance. The 5 in the villain position can make us so anxious that we think we need to do more doing and less being, and then we are not as aware of our emotions, and when we do that, then we actually escalate the anxiety. So if you can be aware of that today, when you feel yourself becoming overwrought, when you feel yourself feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and do something that is going to be nurturing to you. And by that I don't mean have a glass of wine or eat a bit of chocolate. I mean take yourself outside, take some deep breaths, do a meditation, stretch, move your body, something that actually helps you connect to yourself rather than distract you from the anxiety today. Fortunately, again, of course, as always, we've got Jin Shin Jitsu. Safety energy lock number 12 is located on the middle finger. If you hold the middle finger, you harmonize the liver and gallbladder organ function energy, and by doing that, you harmonize attitudes such as anger and resentment and guilt. And this also inadvertently helps to reduce the anxiety. In Chinese medicine, they say the liver is the warehouse of anxiety in the body. So it's not the organ that manifests that emotion, but that's where we store it. And when we hold the middle finger, we help to harmonize that liver organ function energy, and therefore we will also help to harmonize the anxiety. If you find yourself being overrun and feel like you're being overwhelmed by anxiety itself, you can hold your thumb, because that is the finger that harmonizes the attitude of anxiety. And if that doesn't help and you feel that you are overwhelmed because you've got subconscious fear that is driving you, you can hold your index finger, because your index finger helps to harmonize subconscious fear. And if you really need grounding, what you can do is you can hold each one of your fingers for 2 minutes at a time, and after 10 minutes you will have harmonized all the attitudes and all the safety energy locks, and you will feel more grounded and more connected to yourself. I hope you have an amazing Tuesday, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.